Dr. Ramin Mohager is the advisor to the CEO in HR Development and Performance Management in the Information Technology Authority in Oman. Dr. Ramin has held various roles in HR and communications, creating his wealth of knowledge and experience in the field of HR. He has worked at Muscat Municipality and Suhar Development Office, leading to his current role as the advisor to the CEO. Dr. Ramin has an MBA from Victoria University, Melbourne, Australia, and a PhD in Business Economics from the University of London. Today, Dr. Ramin will share with us the ITA's experience with employee engagement, a case study on employee engagement in Information Technology Authority, Oman. Please welcome with me Dr. Ramin Mohager.
السلام عليكم. في البداية بغيت أشكر جمعية البحرين لتدريب وتنمية الموارد البشرية على الدعوة الكريمة، وعلى رأسهم الأخ الأستاذ أحمد عطية على المتابعة وكرم الضيافة، وتشريف بالنسبة لي أن يكون على أرض الحب والمودة، أرض الكرم والجود، مملكة البحرين. الجماعة أمروني وجهوني أني أتكلم بالإنجليزي، فبعد إذنكم البرزنتيشن راح يكون بالإنجليزي، وأحاول لما أتحمس يمكن الكلمات العربية تطلع، لكن Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take you through a story of Information Technology Authority. As an organization, احنا جهة حكومية 100% government. We're like any other ministry. We're just called authority for certain reasons. I'll take you through the journey of where we were with respect to engagement and where we were, why we changed, and what have we done so far, and what have we achieved. نسعى للكمال والكمال لله. كل مؤسسة فيها مشاكلها ولها ظروفها، لكن what I will introduce is some of the positive things that we have managed to do. It makes a noise but doesn't change. Okay. We're a government organization that was formed about 10 years ago. And we were typical. And by typical, I mean paperwork. HR was too busy with the paperwork and too busy with following up employees' absentees. عندكم البصمة وعندكم الكرت. Now we've introduced eye scans and facial recognitions. يعني الصراع قائم. They were mainly concerned with this kind of typical government, let's call it. And I'm talking about typical government of Sultanate Oman. I don't know about Bahrain and I don't know about the other countries that much. But let's say it's typical us, typical Oman. We were at around the personnel/HR level. We didn't consider our employees labor or manpower. We were slightly better. But we were around the personnel. فقاسين نسميهم موظفين وموارد بشرية في أحسن الحالات، لكن معظم الوقت نتكلم عنهم كشؤون الموظفين. What we had to do was change. We were forced to change. We had no choice in a way. So the new paradigm that and I'll tell you why we had to change. The new paradigm that we set was we had to shift from the typical to attracting and retaining the employees because of economic situations, because competition with the private sector. People were not staying with us for very long. We had to shift to motivation and focus a lot on the motivation of employees. Innovation, which both Mhandis Mohammed and Dr. Raid mentioned in their talks, leadership development was one of the things we focused on because they were the main cause of the problem. مع احترامي وتقديري to the leadership of organizations, they were the issue. They were not letting the employees or not pulling the employees, if you like, in order to engage. They were not doing their role in it. So they needed to be developed and focusing on engagement and productivity. Now, in general, or as في عبارات عريضة, we moved from managing people on a normal basis to managing their talent and then shifting to strategy implementation. And I believe that unless HR is a strategic partner with the organization, you will not engage them. They will not feel engaged. They don't feel that the organization belongs to them. They will not take your strategy forward. So we moved from, in order to move from managing employees to managing productivity, two main things. And the second one is very dear to me, and I'll give you plenty of examples of how that is important. The first one is organic organization. وإحنا ما شاء الله يعني الكتاب المقدس في المؤسسات نعتبرها كتاب الموارد البشرية ولا شؤون الموظفين. The employee handbook is a holy book. It's almost equivalent to the Bible for the organizations. And we go according to it. And that makes the organization very rigid. We decided that our organization was organic. At the end of the day, we're information technology. So we had to move with the times. And making the organization organic and people accepting that it's organic was one of the main aims, and transparency. Unless, as members of the family, you know what's going on in your house, you're not going to have a sense of belonging. And we needed to become more transparent. والشفافية هذه مطلوبة ويمكن صعبة في الجهات الحكومية أكثر من ما إنها صعبة في المؤسسات الخاصة. لكن بشكل عام, we had to focus on transparency. The main reason why we had to change, and I said at the beginning we were forced, is because the organization was almost controlled by millennials. We had the new generation. People like me, not the rest of you, people like me were no longer in control for engagement and productivity. So the millennials, they needed freedom of movement, hence we needed to bring technology on a big scale to HR. The second thing was managing relationships. And we had to really work on the internal communication of the organization. Appreciation, ما نطبطب عليهم طول اليوم, لكن بشكل عام we had to appreciate them. And this is a generation, and I won't go into the Y generation and the millennials and all the rest of it. And they needed a work-life balance, which we tried to bring. Just before I go into some of the examples that we did, and we got results out of it, that's the important thing. The first thing we did in ITA was separate HR from HRD. Completely separate them as divisions. فالموارد البشرية مع شؤون الإدارية والمالية تحت مدير عام، وإحنا كموارد بشرية وتطوير أو تطوير الموارد البشرية we focus on the long term، الأشياء اللي على المدى البعيد، التحفيز، التدريب، الخطط الاستراتيجية إلى غيرها، وإحنا جزء من مكتب الرئيس. فمكتب سعادته في 3-4 أقسام وإحنا جزء منهم، منفصلين تماماً عن الموارد البشرية اللي ماسكين الأشياء. وهذه الطريقة ساعدتنا كثير. We were very lucky and fortunate that through this we could implement a lot of work. The second thing was using technology. Because using technology made this new generation, these young men and women that we had, they needed an agile internal practice. They need to be on the move. They can't just work. We took out all the desktops. So in the organization, we do not have a single desktop. We have screens to help and connect your laptop because they needed to be mobile. They couldn't, and for this to be implemented in a government organization, يعني almost kufr. You want to bring, what are you trying to do? Destroy the government? So we needed to make them mobile. They were bored of sitting in their offices. They needed to stand, they needed to move around. So I'll give you some examples of that. And we had to expand the boundaries of ITA. We had to move into other organizations, other positions, and it's really about an experience. I think we're the only organization in Oman, when somebody leaves, we celebrate. حفلة الحلوى العمانية والقهوة والرئيس والتصفيق وهدية. We celebrate because they went through an experience, now they move on with their life. They're not, and also we don't like burning bridges, and as a nation we're very peaceful. We don't want to make anybody upset. So we really celebrate. When they leave, we wish them luck and then they move on. So basically, as an organization, we're 98% Omanis. Just for you to get an idea of this fairly difficult government organization, women are 35% of the organization, and that's a very high rate, Omani standard. And these 35, by the way, they don't just make up numbers. The most important DGs are women. The DG of Admin and Finance, which is in charge of the money of the whole organization, is a woman. The DG of Contracts and Procurement, who is in charge of contracts of Microsoft and Cisco for the whole Omani government, is a woman. So these women hold key positions in the organization. The legal is run by a woman. The marketing is run by a woman. So they make a big part of the organization. The other thing is the average age of ITA employees 28. عدانا شايبهم. 28 is a very young group of people that implement the stuff and need the stuff that we mentioned earlier. The other thing is, as this engagement, we needed, see, we weren't in charge of their education. They went to university, النعمة من رب العالمين وبعدين الحكومة. They went, they had brilliant education, whether in Oman or abroad, and we had no part in it. We needed to get them engaged, to make them part of the organization and let them feel and become engaged with us. We worked on their certifications. So on average, everybody has 3 to 4 certifications. And I'm talking about internationally certified, not just technical. People in finance have ACCAs, the entire HR crew has CIPD, and so on and so forth. So even the marketing, the events have international certifications. And this made them feel that ITA is actually doing something for their personal development and education. So when we talk about the culture of the millennials, I'll give you an example, a small example of the physical work environment. Typical government environment is concrete walls, strong, sometimes nicely designed wooden doors, and closed offices. This is typical. We had to change that. So we took out all the walls and we put glass. And we had open offices. And for a government organization, that was very weird. يعني تدخل على المدير العام والرجال مكشوف. He's seen by everyone, which is very strange. So we made open offices, we put glass doors and windows, and then we saw that these were young people, they hated boards. So we took out most of the boards, and the doors and the windows are the boards. So in most of the meetings, people just scrabble on the windows and the doors, and they feel what they are doing during their normal time. Young people like graffiti, they like drawings. So all the poles in the organization, or most of them, we changed them into graffiti walls. So anybody can express what's inside them. They can express how they feel that day. They get changed every now and again. And that gave them comfort in working in a government organization. And between managers' offices, and employee offices, we put up pool tables and hand football and the rest of it. As far as the work-life balance goes, we had a small project that we tried to align the vision and mission, the personal vision mission, align it with the organizational mission and vision. And this was mentioned by somebody earlier on. And this had a great effect. They didn't think that they aimed for something and ITA aims for something else. So by knowing and recording and talking to them about their personal aims in life, we managed to integrate it into the learning and development that they do. And I'll give you examples of that a bit later. Learning and development, دورات التدريبية, we called it L&D holidays. Because to get their families involved, we gave them the task on the 1st of January, or the plan, what they had. When to do it, بكيفهم. They can choose school holidays, they can choose to take their families, and this is actually encouraged. So when you go on a training course, let your family be part of it as well. We're the only government organization that introduced, and this is a secret in Oman, so nobody knows. We introduced flexi hours, and flexi hours for government was unheard of. So that helped a lot. Away Day, the Omani Youth Day, Omani Women's Day, we celebrate it as on a personal basis with little things. It doesn't mean we have too much money. We don't. But we celebrate it on a personal way. We started something with the kids. Now, all organizations have family days and kids days. What we wanted to do was get the families closer to ITA, not give them fun. Fun عندهم city center, عندهم Marahland, عندهم these organizations, they can go and have fun. We wanted them to get closer to ITA, because if their families got closer to ITA, they were happier people. This is my younger daughter, شوية واسطة, تاخذ هدية من الرئيس, بس it was basically bringing all the kids of the thing in different groups, taking them through the different parts, making them live through the different parts of ITA, the interesting parts. So we took them through virtual reality center, augmented reality center, what's the mobile app development center, the business center, and this gave them a feel of what their parents go to work for every single day. Then, the most effective one was the last 2 or 3 hours. We asked every parent to come and take their kids and sit them on their offices, including الرئيس. ساعات جاب الأطفال ماله وحطهم مع الكرسي. For them to know, where does mom and dad, where do they go the whole day? They come late from work, they go to work early, they ignore me because they have work. So what is this work? What happens? And this thing really had an effect in the long run. We've been doing it for 3 years, and we've seen positive effects out of it. So for them to have a sense of belonging to the organization, nobody is referred as employees in official documents. Everybody is a family member. فعائلة هيئة تقنية المعلومات. ITA family members, dear ITA family, dear this. This terminologies and the culture of the terminology was also changed. We tried to participate with the things that normal citizens do. احتفال بيوم الأرض, بيوم البيئة, بيوم الصحة. We participate with them, so they feel that as well as the society, this organization, which they spend more time than with their families, as Dr. Raid said, they actually are with them in the community. They're not separate. I don't have to separate something and celebrate it away from my place of work. Everything is entangled. Little things. We eased on maternity leave. حسب قانون العمل في عمان, we have 50 days. Women get 50 days for labor. We gave them allowance to increase that to almost anything they want. They can make it 6 months. They can make it 8 months. Most of it will be unpaid, by the way. But the fact that they have to come back to work and ignore their kids is not an option. According to the law, we get 1 day paternity leave. عاد الأب يعني لازم يركض بين الصحة والمستشفى والأحوال المدنية. And he has to do everything in 1 day, not really 1 day, 7 hours of dawam. But we increase that. Without going back to anything internally, it's increased. You need 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. We've given that flexibility. We saw that communication with most people here is through WhatsApp. People communicate more through WhatsApp than anything else, according to the statistics. So we adopted division WhatsApp business, which means most of the communication internally within divisions is through WhatsApp business. And WhatsApp business is more secure and it's more organized than the normal WhatsApp. So this thing also helped the engagement. We created closed Facebook accounts. So as well as going into their social media, they can also integrate with us. And we try to integrate it with the wearable technology that they have. Projects are no longer just the responsibility of the project manager or the director. We try to involve everyone. So even junior staff handle projects. They're not multi-billion real projects, but they handle projects, they take responsibility, they are accountable, and we celebrate their accomplishments. So this kind of involvement helped the engagement that we were aiming for. Resources, technology we mentioned. We have seen that a lot of the younger generation don't really have time to log in. It's a waste of time. You want me to log in? Everything's on my phone. So we tried to shift, and we're in the process of shifting almost everything to mobile apps. And this has helped a lot, because the engagement of these people, the engagement of our family members through mobile apps is a lot faster. And I'm talking about HR before anything else. We invite anyone, any staff, irrespective of where they are. If they have something to offer, we book them a hall, we advertise for them, and they feel that they're contributing something. Just because you don't have a high title, it doesn't mean you cannot give. And I'll give you statistics to how engaged people have become. That applies to the consultants as well. So by bringing human resource information system and implementing it, our HR department صار شبه فاضي. ما عندهم شغل. So what do they focus on? They started focusing on the future needs of HR. ITA, where is it going to be in 5 years? Who are we going to need in 5 years? Knowledge management, business continuity. If you take out, at the moment, with the system we implemented, anybody from any position in ITA, nothing will change. In the sense that the process is very well known. The process is documented بحذافيره. Everything is there. So they had time to focus on these things, and as well as alignment with ITA strategies, and again, transparency, which I'll come back to. Policies, we tried to change some of the policies, and as a government organization, most government organizations are part of the civil service, الخدمة المدنية. هيئة تقنية المعلومات, we report to أمانة العامة مجلس الوزراء. So we don't follow the normal route of government entities. لغينا شيء اسمه نائب. We don't have deputies. No deputy رئيس قسم, no deputy director, no deputy DG. We cancelled all the positions of deputy, and we divided it. So every time somebody in position goes, somebody else takes their role. And this made them feel that everybody is getting an opportunity, and the engagement increased. E-internships, e-recruitment, e-HR, e-contracts and procurement, everything has become online, and this was the basis of transparency. أساس الشفافية خلال طرح الأشياء على الشبكة كان له أثر إيجابي بالنسبة اندماج الموظفين. We saw that the code of, we couldn't change the document, the employee handbook. So what we did in order for people to feel that they are cared for, not just by the law, we care for them in addition to the law, we created the code of ethics. And basically anything that was not in that book, we included it here. It's not a law, but it made feel a lot of people from their feedback that somebody actually has an eye on them, somebody cares for them, more than the typical اللي مال القوى العاملة and the employee handbook. Performance management was a huge thing. Competency framework and employee and performance management, without proper implementation of these two, we could not get people engaged because there is no clear vision and there is no transparency. I'll give you an example. With competency framework, every single box or position in ITA has 21 competencies, every single box. حتى the positions that we don't have somebody in it at the moment, the 21 competencies. When we did this, everybody had a personal aim to work for, and I can't think of the translation in English, but I'm sure you'll understand. شغل واسطات قلت. ليش؟ لأن الكومبتنسي واضح. باغي ترقي حد، باغي تجيب حد بدال حد، باغي تجيب حد من برا. All of this was crystal clear on what competencies. So you really couldn't, and that حمل على الرئيس وعلى طاقم الرئيس, it became much, much less. Because people couldn't argue. If I am less competent than Dr. Ja'far, why should I be put there? And this cut down a lot of negativity that was being said and distributed. We clearly communicated, and by the way, do you know who did the performance management? We reviewed it this year because it was getting very old. It was 5 years old. The performance management that we did 5 years ago was no longer valid. In today's world, it's no longer valid. It's like saying your iPhone is good. iPhone 1 is still working. ناس يعتبروها تخلف، ما يعتبروها انك تأخرت على الموضة ولا شيء. Performance management, and you know who did it? Employees. We involved the entire organization in changing our performance management. The task force that was formed to do A to Z of it had employees that had nothing to do with HR, but they had ideas. They expressed in the blog that they had different suggestions and ideas. So people's involvement and clear communication helped us in the performance management. The reviewing of it is absolutely transparent. We have the ROI for training. So all the feedback and the benchmarks and the المقاييس وكل شيء, everything was put on the table, and I don't have time to go to the details of it, but the most important thing is you make decisions. Imagine you want to do something in your house and you just go and do it. Sorry. People will, your kids will love it. Your family will love it, but they will not be engaged. They will love it as a third party. When we involved people in the competency framework, when we involved people ما لهم دخل بشكل عام, but they have ideas, they're young. The days, my days, of tunnel vision employment are long gone. Now كل واحد يتدخل في كل شيء. صح؟ Things احنا ما لنا علاقة فيها, كل واحد يتفلفس. شارع, جسر, شغل بلدية, شغل مهندسين, بس لا كل مواطن يعطي راية. أخي الشارع المكان المفروض يلفوه من هناك. تو أنت أول أمس ما كنت تعرف وين الشارع. الحين تعطي رأيك كمهندس مدني. People are like this because this is the new generation. So give them the opportunity. Shutting them up is not going to get anywhere. By getting them involved, we got the results. I'll go a bit quicker. I don't have a clue how much time I have. So, transparency, I'll give you an example of how people felt involved. every month we sent a statement. It's like a bank statement. ما أشوف من بعيد. ما أشوف الخمس دقائق من بعيد. بخلص بسرعة إن شاء الله. بالنسبة للtransparency, every month we send a statement to all the divisions. How much money we've spent, who went on training, where did they go, what did they do. It's a whole statement, financial and non-financial. And this has put away a lot of قيل وقال. شغل كلام ممرات وشغل كلام. It's taken top management meetings. We have a board meeting with their excellencies, the ministers, every 2 months or 3 months. And we have top management meeting with His Excellency, the CEO, and the DGs and the advisors. All this, there is a report that comes out after each meeting. ناس كانوا يشوفوا أن أنا مدير عامي كل أسبوعين يجتمع، والاجتماع عاد ما كذا. الكباب الإيراني طايح والبيتزا طايح وطول اليوم يجتمعوا the drinks and the coffees and the teas. What do they do? I don't see anything. And then 2 weeks later, they get together again. وكل يوم ضاربين اجتماعات. What they did, we give a report, we give a statement after each time. We don't talk about everything. Nobody told you to give them محضر الاجتماع, but give them a summary. So now there is no talk about the management meeting in the organization because everyone has a clue about the main points that happen. Connectivity with all the divisions, internship, and this year we had the highest ranking. We had a third equivalent to the number of the organization. So a third of the number of our employees we brought in as interns. And this gave responsibility to people who don't have teams, people who are not directors, who are not team leaders, who usually don't have a responsibility. And they were responsible for the development of this person day in, day out, على رأس العمل لفترة 8 أسابيع. So this helped a lot. And this is something, we say it in every opportunity. Any training I do for you, any learning and development that you go on is not for ITA. أقسم لك it's not for ITA. I develop you لأنك مواطن، لأنك شاب، لأن هذه وظيفة اجتماعية، وظيفة دينية، وظيفة إنسانية، إني أطورك. So number one, it's for you. And second thing, it's for Oman. We serve Oman. I personally serve Oman. I have nothing to do with ITA. ITA is the banner, is the umbrella under which I serve. And that is why if you go back, we celebrate people leaving لأنهم وين يروحوا؟ عاد رايح من هالمبنى للمبنى الثاني. والإخوان عندنا أيام زمان كان يضرب عزا. عنده عزا 3 أيام فلان تركنا وكل هالسنين مع بعض وكل اللي عطيناه وسويناه والحين ترك وين راح صوب الثاني من الشارع في مؤسسة ثانية يخدم نفس البلد نفس العلم نفس السلطان. It's something that people العائد, the return for this development that we do for you comes back to ITA. It can come back to anywhere else. Succession plan and secondment, I'll just focus on the secondment. Younger generations, you don't like to stay in one place, right? عاد كل شيء موجود ويغير. 3 to 5 years حدهم. They want to change, they want to go. So we created something called internal secondment, and we don't have أفرع. عندنا بس هيئة في نفس المباني, في نفس المكان. So what we did, we said anybody can transfer to any division for a certain period of time. طلع حرتك. يعني أنت في السايبر سيكيورتي you want to go to marketing. يا أخي go to marketing. اجلس لك 3 أشهر. 96% of the people come back and saying شيمة رجعني. أريد أرجع. أنا على بالي grass is greener on the other side. It's not. We had people go from the weirdest sections to the, except for the cybersecurity, we don't transfer people in. لأن it's a bit sensitive. لكن كل الأقسام الثانية يا أخي روح يمكن تتعلم. So we had a lot of people not leave us because we gave them this opportunity. Learning and development, we have soft skills, knowledge transfer, awareness sessions, technical sessions. the important thing to see the result of engagement. In 2018, we have 73 internal programs. 69 of the 73 are conducted by employees internally because they want to give. We don't give them money, we don't give them time off. ما ياخذون ولا بيسة من عنا. اللهم شهادة تكريم. ومن موقعنا وين رامين موقعنا. يعني ما تسوى شيء. It's a piece of paper in reality. لكن they give, they spend hours of their time at home preparing. Why? Because يبوا يعطوا. They want to give back to the organization. So I hope this thing that you're filming doesn't get filmed here. That's why it's a good thing I took out the numbers. In 2017, we spent a fair bit of money for the learning and development of the organization. About 6 times that amount we got for free. الحين هذيلا they're not important. هذه جهود شخصية إلى آخره. 98,000 riyals, which is almost 98,000. The end. أقفز وين أروح؟ بس أخلص 2 minutes إن شاء الله. 98,000 Omani riyals was spent out of pocket by employees for their learning and development. They paid for courses, they paid for flights, they paid for accommodation. I don't think if they were engaged, I don't think if they were worried about themselves and the organization, they would have spent that much money. And this they cut, ما نايمين على كنوز. They cut from their holidays, they cut from things that they wanted to buy, and they paid for their training. And the courses they did for us is equivalent to 73,000 Omani riyals. This takes hours of preparation. Very, very quickly, by creating think tanks, clear KPIs, self-evaluation, and representing ITA. We encourage any muwazzaf that has the opportunity to go and present somewhere, we automatically agree to it. Because this gives them a sense of personal satisfaction and engagement before anything else. We created the ambassadors, and I think this is a semi-old program that we did, but very successful. Normal employees, they are the ambassadors. They present, they accompany VIPs, not the CEO. The CEO واقف وراء آخر شيء. So these people felt that they were important in the organization. Before 2014, things were أيام العز. We had the money that we wanted, everybody. والله حتى المقهوي كان يروح الخارج يتدرب. والله, everybody used to go. 2014, they brought the rule that we had to be the same as all other government organizations. عطاح الفاس في الراس. We had to, our salaries and everything were balanced with government organizations, which wasn't a very good thing, but yallah. And in 2016, happened what happened. So it's not the fact that we have more money now. We actually have less money. We have less support financially. Learning and development, by the way, the learning and development of every single employee in ITA is governed initially by themselves. And that is where we align it with their personal interest, with their personal aims and objectives. And then we try to bring it around for ITA as well. Monthly statements I already talked about. This is employee of the month. And this is in front of the VIP lounge. So any minister, any head of state that passes by will see who the employees are. We had a gratitude program. مسكينة 50 مرة مسكت الأند والله خلاص الحين اعذريني من السموح. Gratitude was something that we created for internal engagement and cooperation. This is projects that are done interdivisionally. We recognize it and we award it and we give them recognition. And this has helped interdivision, not only within the division, but between divisions. Some of the things that we give. We take ibarat that people think is encouraging to them. People think it touches their heart. And we put it in corridors. And by the way, these are corridors, workstations in corridors. مليت من مكتبك تعال اجلس في أي ممر. في طاولات, في كراسي, في inspirational things. So you just move around in the organization. In 2014, we created this. المجلس, anyone with any talent can come and present something. It doesn't have to be related to technology or IT. So here they felt that even their personal mawahib is important to ITA. 2015, there's a lot of talk, صح? Chit-chat in your corridors, in your kitchens, in your parking slots. So every time we hear something is being talked about, we create a majlis for it. And we bring the person responsible, stand here, whoever wants to attend from ITA will question you. And since 2015, I did the same one, the first one, and they can come and question you. And this has helped engagement as well. The family culture. By the way, top management in your organizations are not just there for the chair and the big offices. They are mentors. And we put it as part of their KPI of all the director generals to go on mentorship, and they're being assessed for being mentors of their staff. Middle management, directors, and all the expats had to go through coaching sessions. And they're being assessed in their KPI for being coaches. If you cannot just be a director, رايح الصباح وتعدل مصرك it doesn't work like that. You are a coach, you're responsible for people's development. This is a forum we created, and this يطلعوا الكلام. احنا في عمان عندنا سبلة عمان, which is a site that you can say anything you want about anything you want. Here, we prove to the employees that you will not be judged. Say anything you want. The only rule is you have to bring a positive side to it. You can't criticize and say, I don't like the flowers. Tell me I don't like the flowers, but I like the other kind. That was the only rule. And we have had so many things come through here. So to go to the future, I think you need to spend time. To create these things لمؤسساتكم لازم نعطي وقت. لازم نعطي طاقة. لازم نعطي جهد. And لازم نخمن أو we have to predict راح يكون عندنا شوية معارضة. أي تغيير فيها معارضة. And why? Because in 2 years, Generation Alpha is coming. You thought the millennials were difficult? You thought the young people in your organizations are difficult? انتظروا سنتين ثلاثة. These people are unreal. Look at your kids. They will demand things in ما يخطر على بالنا, they will demand it from us. I won't go through this, it's in the slide, but I thought of questions that came through our mind in order. عندي سلايدين, والله سلايدين بس ما بقراهم. These are a set of questions that we asked ourselves, and it pushed us to change. So maybe if you go through these, it will help you as well as the same as it helped us. Last two, you never know, you might get, Dr. Ahmed Al-Banna was telling me yesterday that they're thinking of bringing Sophia, Lakht Sophia, artificial intelligence, to the next conference. So that's something. We have 3 mottos in ITA. هذيل الشعارات. The first thing is HR, احنا ما محامين ولا شغلنا ندافع عن الشؤون المالية ولا الإدارة العليا. الموارد البشرية صوت الموظف. And this is something that's missing. هذه ثقافة وطريقة تفكير which is missing in a lot of organizations. HR are defensive against the employees. It's the other way around. You're called human resource. You're not called management resource. The second thing is we realize that ITA will never change. Unless the employees change, ITA doesn't change. Unless you get them engaged and you work on your productivity, nothing can change. And engagement cannot be forced. You can bring rules and regulations, but it will not affect. One of the things that we created as a sense of belonging is that everybody is serving the same leader, the same alam, the same country. We're not against each other. We're not against each other's developments. And that's why everybody's development and engagement is just as important. And the final slide, His Majesty in one of the speeches said that events are created by conditions and occurrences outside us. هذه events, أحداث. Realities are created by conditions and occurrences within us. And if we don't work on the reality within us, nothing in our organizations will change. My sincere apologies. منك السموحة إني تأخرت. I'm very sorry for delay.